One of the bigger problems that we have with the competency crisis is the amount of incompetence that's getting itself into emergency services and government, as we're seeing currently. Now, maybe some of it's malevolent, but it's probably more, my suspicion, it's probably more due to just incompetence. So let's discuss for just a second here, because some people don't know what competence and incompetence means. Competence does not mean that you're always right. Okay? It doesn't mean you always get things right. What that means is can you explain how you made the decision you made, even if you got it wrong? So even if you got the answer wrong, can you explain your math? Can you explain how you got to that, through your years of experience, your observation, all of these factors? Can you explain why you made the decision? Even if you made the wrong decision, did you make the wrong decision for the right reasons? Does that make sense? So for example, you think I haven't had employees that have cost me thousands of dollars in damages? Of course I have. The question is that, could they explain to me why they made a bad decision? Can they explain it? Or did they just make a bad decision and they have no idea why they did it? Okay, well, that's incompetence. That's complete incompetence. And that's a problem, right? Well, that's where you get this phenomenon now where we've got a whole bunch of people in all levels of government, for example, all looking for, a finger to point to and say, well, I was just following what they said. Yeah, see, when you get rid of your really competent people, and this happens in corporate America as well, it happens in all big organizations of any kind, the more competent people become expensive. And the big organizations can't have competent people because they can't afford them any longer. They just can't. So they get rid of the truly competent people, and then they promote somebody else who will do it for less money. Here's the problem with that, and this applies to your ports, since everybody's become experts on ports in the last 24 hours. When you put people in positions of management or in charge of things that may or may not know what they're doing, they're liable to cause more damage. They're liable to make a whole lot more problems for other people downstream of them. And then if you go and ask them, hey, why did you do this? Even though, like you messed everything up, they'll say, well, the manual says this. The problem is the manuals can't cover every eventuality. They just can't. Look at the way that the laws in this country are written. There's like 80 million plus laws, and we still can't figure that out. Probably because it doesn't actually work that way, and you need to actually have people that are truly competent doing things. But we don't want to pay for them, right? Because most people want slaves. You just don't want to admit that you want slaves. I would prefer you just admit that you want slaves, as opposed to trying making up some nonsense in your mind about how, well, no, we're going to do this, and stop. Just admit that you want slaves and move on. You get a lot more respect out of me for that. But my point is that when you have this kind of problem with competence and competency, when you have this kind of problem, it's going to become pervasive. And we're seeing that happen now. So if you look at, for example, what's going on in Appalachia, look at the level of incompetence that we're seeing out of the government officials, right? You have normal people who already know the layout of the land. They already know where they're going, assuming the topography hasn't changed, but they already know where they're going. They already know what they're doing. And government is coming in saying, no, hey, we're going to do all this stuff. It's because they were just told to go follow orders. That's why. They were told, go down and do this. They have no idea why. They are completely incompetent people. Because if you ask them to explain themselves, they're going to say, well, I was given orders. Right? The same excuse that didn't work at Nuremberg, they'll give you that exact same excuse every single time. And it's because they really have no clue what they're doing. Because a truly competent person that worked in government, assuming that was a thing, and it's really not anymore, would go down there and say, hold on, you guys got some of this stuff done, so I'm going to leave you to it. If you've got this, we're going to go handle other stuff then. Because if you've got this going on, I'm not going to get in your way. You chopper pilots can go do all this stuff. We're going to go over here with our team and do this other stuff over here that we can do. That's how you handle something like that. You don't inject yourself into the middle. It's called seagull management. You swoop in, shit on everything, and then fuck off. You don't want to do that. Okay, that's a terrible management style, and it's destructive. You want to see an organization be destroyed? Do that. That is the fastest way to completely undermine and destroy all of your key players in your organization. And keep this in mind also for some of you business owners that are out there, because I know there's a few of you out there that follow me, and then follow my work. When you undermine all of the people that are truly competent in your organization, you're screwed. you're totally screwed. I've worked with organizations like this, as a contractor, and I'll see somebody who has authority, or who I think has authority and is competent, knows what they're doing. They give me we'll work together some kind of a deal, and then the owner or some CEO will come in and undermine the whole thing and completely cut the legs out from underneath the people that they just had there. What am I to make of that? The first thing I'm going to say is, like, why the hell did you even hire these people to do this? Because you clearly don't need them. So why did you do that? This is just stupid. It's because you're incompetent yourself as a CEO, and that's a lot of people, believe it or not. I mean, for as far as a lot of these companies get through inertia, I'm talking about the big guys. A lot of the people that are in upper management are completely fucking incompetent. They would not be able to explain to you any of the reasons behind anything, because they don't want to make decisions on anything, or they're compromised altogether, and that's a completely different video. But we're just making the assumption that it's pure incompetence. This is a problem that will continue, and it will continue to get worse. We've already talked about the competency crisis in several other videos. This one now is me defining, for the most part, how that's going to work, and then what that's going to do as far as your government people. I would submit to you that the damage that's actually been done through Appalachia, through this hurricane situation, let's assume it's a complete total, it's a total natural disaster, and I'm assuming no conspiracies involved, just the weather. Okay, fine. The damage is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 180 to 250 billion dollars worth of damage. It will be twice that, if not more, because of the incompetence that's going to continue, and it's going to be because of your government. It's going to be because of the people that have been put in those positions, and that's just the end of it. There's no way around this until you actually have a hierarchy of competence. And the only way you're going to get a hierarchy of competence is to stop using the US fucking dollar, because it's just not that currency rewards incompetence, and it does it a lot. So there you go.